Hello. Okay, so this is the second of a series of podcasts that is looking at the Nazi Party in the Bruning era, and this podcast is about the Leipzig trial of September 1930. Okay, so a little bit of context then. This is September 1930. That's the a fundamental thing really. This is the month when the Nazis burst into the political scene and became the second largest party in the Reichstag. You remember that previously in 1928 the Nazis had only got 2.6% of the vote, were very much a marginal party on the edge of politics, or at least that's how they were perceived. But now suddenly, nearly a year into the Depression, September 1930, the Nazis achieved 18% of the vote, 107 seats, and they became the second largest party in the Reichstag. Now, that was a huge event in Germany. We really can't sort of overemphasise the shock that event caused, and in particular it caused a big shock for the conservative elites. Because here we have the second largest party in the Reichstag, a party that basically is openly revolutionary in its aims. Hitler has always been very, very blunt that if he ever comes to power, he will dismantle democracy. And yet, and so basically the party has open contempt for parliamentary democracy, and yet it is participating in the parliamentary process. So how do you reconcile those apparently opposite things? A party that despises democracy participating in democracy in this way. Now, what happened then in September 1930, at exactly the point when the Nazis were sort of like, when this was suddenly a big issue, and in particular for the conservative elites it was a big issue because that they needed to rationalise what their attitude to the Nazis was. They, on one hand, they admired the movement. They, being reactionaries, they likewise despised parliamentary democracy. The Conservatives thought back to the days of the Kaiser, when the Reichstag was less important, where there was strong leadership from above. And so on one hand, the Conservative elites didn't want to take action against the Nazi Party. They could see that the party had its heart in the right place. But on the other hand, their role as the Conservatives was to take action against movements that were openly revolutionary. So how do you sort of rationalise and square the circle between those two opposites? Okay, so that was the debate. Now, Hitler was aware of that. He needed the support of the conservative elites to get himself into power, and he fully understood that the state authorities and the army leaders had this question mark in their mind: should they be taking action against the Nazis, or should they be supporting the Nazis? At heart they wanted to support the Nazis, but they found it difficult to justify this. So what happened here with the Leipzig trial is it illustrates how Hitler grabbed an opportunity to resolve the problem. Okay, so the opportunity was basically a fairly small event, really. Soldiers in the army were not supposed to spread political propaganda, okay, within the ranks of the army. Basically, 3 army lieutenants had been accused of working for the Nazi Party, and they were put on trial at the Supreme Court in the German city of Leipzig on a charge of spreading revolutionary propaganda within the army. Okay, so Hitler saw this as an opportunity to clarify to the conservative elites where the Nazi Party stood in this. So he was called as a witness to the trial, and as a witness he made a very, very careful distinction, and he distinguished between the means and the ends. So he famously said, and we quote, and this is the quote quote that's been put there. The National Socialist movement will try to achieve its aim with constitutional means in this state. Actually, the next sentence, and it is document 63, then said, the Constitution prescribes only the methods, not the aim. Okay, in this constitutional way, we shall try to gain decisive majorities in the legislative bodies so that the moment we succeed, we can give the state the form that corresponds to our ideas. I'm just reading from the actual document there. So what Hitler has basically done is he has distinguished between the means and the aim. He says that basically we are doing nothing wrong because we aim to overthrow democracy. That is not illegal. There's nothing illegal. The Constitution does not prescribe the aim. It only prescribes the methods. And he said, we are sticking to the path of legality in our methods. I know our aim is to basically overthrow democracy, but that is not illegal to have that as an aim. In terms of methods, we are working within the Constitution, and that is legal. So that statement helped convince the state authorities and the army. It helped them rationalise their doubts about the party. It helped them rationalise the fact that they wanted to support the movement, okay, because basically Hitler used the opportunity of the trial to say we are being legal, okay, and so therefore it focused the conservative elites on the fact that they that it was okay for them to support Hitler because he was not actually being revolutionary in his methods, only in his aims. Okay, so as Liam and Nicoletta have pointed out here, the quote suggests that Hitler will attempt to use constitutional means to gain power. However, the most significant word from this quote is try. Okay, it infers that Hitler felt he was only bound to the Constitution during his struggle. So I'm just highlighting the key bits there. He was only bound to the Constitution during the struggle, as after he'd taken power, heads will roll. At this trial, Hitler used it for propaganda to unburden himself of his beliefs and attitudes. Okay, so as I've said, the point is convincing the conservative elites that there's nothing wrong with them supporting him, that they're not being illegal by supporting him because his methods are legal. Okay, hopefully that's useful for you. It is a key event, and it is a good opportunity to make these key points. In your essays, you will be talking about the conservative elite, so you can reference the Leipzig trial in that way. Thank you.